Welcome to another thrilling, fun-filled, action-packed edition of Groupthink, a show where three friends come together and try their damnedest to figure out life's weird mysteries while offering up various conspiracy theories to already twisted legends and myths. Groupthink is here to cast a sweeping beam of light across the dark and confusing landscape in an effort to bring you, our listeners, something new and interesting to spice up your otherwise dull and pathetic lives. My name is Stephen Pelakaitis, and holding it down with me tonight and every podcast is Rookie, the Hammer Carmen, and Tommy Swags. What's up, guys?
Woo, what's going on?
Not much. First broadcast group. Thank you guys. Feeling good?
Feeling good. And I'm hoping the Giants are losing right now because I do not like the Giants.
I thought you had Shane Vereen for your fantasy.
No, I have no one on the Giants. I wouldn't.
I do, and Shane Vereen is like my last leg to.
Nah,
I would not paint my fantasy lineup with any Giants fan or players.
All right. Well, as you can tell already with our banter, this show pretty much encompasses anything. Nothing's off limits. Nothing's out of target range. But we do have some topics, some sort of path to follow. And tonight's subject will be discussing the Mars One project. And I know, Ricky, this is something that interests you, especially with your interest in alien life forms and possible space travel.
I'm a believer.
You're a believer. The Mars One project. Now, this is a privately funded. This has nothing to do with NASA, right? The Mars One project.
It's privately funded, and it's a concept of. It began a couple years ago, where a private company wants to send a group of 4 people to Mars, and it's a one-way trip, and they would have to survive there with supply drop-offs every couple years.
And they had people actually fill out applications and go through a process where they were selected, right?
Right, and it was like hundreds of thousands of people have signed up for it, and I was one of them. I put my name in there.
Did you really?
Yeah, I just did it just to be part of it, but I know I'll never get picked because
they said over 200,000 applied, which is incredible because if you think about it, especially what you said, it being a one-way ticket, basically people said 200,000 people said, yeah, I'm okay with this being this is a one-way ticket. I'm going to die on this trip.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get picked because I don't bring anything to the table. They're just going to bring a fat guy who plays video games and likes sci-fi. I don't think that's much.
So that doesn't qualify you automatically, like the sci-fi being fat.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping on because I tried to apply as well. I just couldn't figure out the whole application thing.
Could you imagine that?
I gave up.
If you were selected, you get to Mars, it's like, well, he's a fat guy lying on the couch playing video games. We're not really getting much done.
It's like
other than consuming more rations than humanly possible.
I would be okay if they had Hot Pockets.
Imminent doom for everybody else is all you can guarantee.
I would be okay if they had Hot Pockets because Hot Pockets are the choice of gamers.
How would you cook them now?
Ooh, I didn't even think of that. Shut up.
You just open up the door and put them in space.
No, that's not how it works. It's cold on Mars.
The reverse. It'll make it so cold that it'll
become hot.
Yeah,
you'll be closer to the sun.
Hey, I don't know.
You're going on you're doing the dry ice theory where it's so cold it'll burn you.
Well, or that, or just like Mars is the red planet, so it's got to be hot there, right?
I don't know enough about Mars to dispute that.
I mean, I did see the picture of the dolphins swimming.
I was talking to Talia about Mars last week, and he thought Mars was red because of lava.
Yeah, isn't that true? Like,
no. Really?
Just like the inside of the Earth. I thought it was like the Earth inverted. Like on the inside, it would be green.
No, just imagine
on the outside.
Much of the planet is covered with iron deposits, and Mars is basically rusting.
No, that just sounds miserable. Why do we want to go there?
Well,
that leads me to that question. What's the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this entire trip?
Basically, if I understand it correctly, Mars has a lot of resources we could use. Like since there's running water there now, we could actually use it to basically as a gas station because we could separate the hydrogen and oxygen and make fuel from that. So eventually, we could turn Mars into like a gas station in our solar system.
So they're using this just basically for new resources and new.
Yeah, but if you think about it, though, I mean, the human population is not going down; it's going up. Eventually, not saying like tomorrow or anything, but eventually we will have to start colonizing to support the population.
Or we just sterilize everyone under the age of 10 and let it kind of figure itself out for a couple generations, and then we'll be okay.
You'd have to get everybody on board that throughout the world now.
I'm sure China would be okay with it, and probably Afghanistan from the readings I found on the internet.
That they would be okay with that self-imposed sterilization?
Yeah, absolutely.
So these
I
people
prefer not to divulge where I found that information.
Yeah, I think you just made that up.
I did my research.
These people that applied, I guess they have scientific backgrounds. I mean, It's not like they're just Tom, Dick, and Harry, guy working midnight shift at a 7-Eleven's getting selected. They have to have
Tom, Dick, and Steve to be more accurate, but it's here nor there.
Yeah, but from what I read, it's basically engineers, scientists, doctors. It's something that something to bring to the table to actually survive and to, I guess, colonize it.
So were these people were selected from all across the world? It wasn't just one particular country,
right? And they narrowed down to 100 the last time I checked.
So they have 100 people that they've decided are viable candidates to actually go and on a mission or a launch.
There are 100 people, and there's one finalist in the top 100. He's come out and said that the Mars One project is basically a scam. They're just trying to get like donations from people, and it's not really. They don't really plan on launching at all.
We'll address that a little bit later. Would you guys would either of you guys volunteer to do this? Why or why not?
I would, for me, because you'd be part of history. You'd be one of the first people to touch down on Mars.
So right now, you'd say if they were to take you, you'd go.
If I had the skills,
let's say you do. Let's say they came up to you and said, "Hey, Ricky, we want you to go." You would go.
I would. You would forever be in history,
knowing you would never come back.
Who was the first person on the moon?
I have no idea.
Come on. You know, everybody knows his name. He'll forever be remembered for the first person to be on the moon.
Lance Armstrong.
There you go. Boom.
Oh my God! But
then he got busted for blood doping.
I don't think we're talking about the same person here.
What about you, Tommy? What would you volunteer?
I think if I felt like I was like a real candidate and it was something that I was passionate about.
They said to you were going to go. Just say yes if you're going to go.
If I was really more interested in it, I think I'm kind of in line with Ricky. I would definitely want to be known for making a part of history, to be one of the first people to colonize on Mars. Those people would be remembered for making history. That's quite a legacy to leave behind.
And we're not talking about just touching the moon or landing on a planet and leaving. They're living there. They will die there. They'll dig graves.
Right? Yeah. No. They're going to be. That's it.
They'll be Martians.
Now, me, I would not go.
And why?
Simply because I have 2 small kids, and there's no way.
I always told you that they're holding you back, man.
You're right. They never knew they were my anchors to earth. Yeah, I wouldn't go.
All they do is waste space.
And they cost me money. But, I wouldn't go just for that reason. No way. But I guess if I were single, had really nothing going for me down here, I'd do it. What the heck?
I would have a hard time, though. I enjoy video games a lot, and I know that there's going to be video games up there. It's gone.
Yeah, no, that's gone. Beer, anything alcohol, forget it. Gone.
Yeah, I could survive though if I got an endless supply of books. Like if they gave me a subscription to Kindle Unlimited, or I didn't have to pay for it.
Listen, man, he's gonna go to Mars on a one-way ticket just for free books. That's it.
Well, I can read instead of working on spending my days making this an inhabitable place for the next group of people to show up. I'm just gonna read in peace and quiet.
Everything's contingent upon them paying for my subscription. I'm not paying for it.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you said that there's people out there that are saying that this is a big scam, Ricky, because you're saying that they're just doing it for donations.
Yeah.
Reading over their actual itinerary for this, it's extremely ambitious. I mean, they're talking like by 2022, the training and whatnot supposedly about to get underway within the next year. But they're saying that they're going to put up a rover That's going to be launched in 2022, and it's going to actually serve as the main beacon for future landings. So it's kind of like the lifeline that everything else is going to be tied to. But I'm thinking 2022. That's what, 7 years away. That's
yeah.
I just don't.
I don't see it either. NASA's even come out and said they are not going to Mars without our help, and NASA doesn't even plan to go to Mars until 2030.
And then they're also saying in 2024, cargo missions are going to start after they get after they get the rover landed on Mars. They're going to launch cargo missions. It's they're gonna put like literally like these pods, 2 living units, I guess, where the astronauts are going to stay, 2 life support units, and a supply unit, and along with a second rover, and that's by 2024. I mean, the turnaround times on this, and just. I don't know, because it just seems way over ambitious.
It's over ambitious, but it's under calculated in terms of funds.
Yeah, because they're saying that the initial launch is going to cost $6 billion.
No,
and then that's what they're saying. This is what Mars One has said. They're saying it's a cost of $6 billion, and then $4 billion for each subsequent launch.
It just means everyone needs to donate $1.
No.
To me, that sounds cheap.
It's not. It's very cheap. And from what these MIT students have come up with a presentation, and they showed that it's going to cost at least $100 billion to get this all started off the ground. And that's $6 billion is way underestimated.
So they're saying $100 billion just to launch the initial.
Right, and these are MIT students, and I don't take MIT lightly.
Because I was going to say, I mean, the units themselves, life support units, living units, stuff like that. You're talking at least $2 or $3 billion. I mean,
right, just the equipment alone. We're not talking about fuel supply and all that other stuff. And no, I agree with the MIT students. It's going to take a lot more than $6 billion. And so maybe that finalist, I'm thinking, maybe had some merit here where maybe it isn't just a scam, but I'm not too worried about it because eventually NASA is going to do it.
So if it's a scam, though, what is it, like a pyramid scam where it's like a couple of people at the top of Mars One that are just like pocketing this cash, and they're just going to come and say, well, what we projected and what we've been able to accomplish just aren't going to, match up? I mean,
well, they're just going to do a Hollywood thing. They're going to make it just like the moon landing. It's going to be in a Hollywood basement.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Chili Peppers dictated, and they're gonna, yeah, I mean they're gonna share this money with all these people and say, yeah, we're gonna make some history. You guys are gonna be actors in the biggest scam ever, and you'll all get
let me ask
$5 million, and they'll pocket the rest, and everyone will think it's awesome, and then all the people on Mars will be gone, and then they will just change their identities and go live in another country with money, and boom, problem solved.
I would like to get inside your head one day and find out why do you think the way you do.
Well, I wonder the same things too. But no, I really do. I could see it being a potential scam or just really like a publicity thing, not necessarily they're trying to steal everybody's money.
Yeah,
but they might be really kind of onto something, or just trying to push NASA to actually forego with their project a little quick.
And I think that may be a bunch of like science geeks who are like upset that NASA has kind of been defunded to the point where they're, getting out of the space race game altogether. So it may be like throw down the gauntlet, challenge NASA, kind of thing. Because they're also saying, just going back to the mission and what their itinerary is here, 2027 is when they're actually planning on putting the first manned cruise on Mars. And then every 26 months after that, there'll be a subsequent mission which will resupply and bring additional equipment to the existing astronauts, I guess you'd still call them, or at that point. But did you ever hear a final number of what they're looking at as far as a final population, what they want?
Yeah, from last time I read, it was I think 20 settlers altogether. They would eventually cap out. I think it was in like year 2035, like 20.
And then what are they hoping from that to procreate and have?
Well, this is before they found running water on Mars. So now them surviving on Mars is actually more feasible now. Now
Could you imagine being the first child born on Mars?
it'd be the Martian, man. Yeah, that would be
First Martian.
You would be an actual Martian.
Could you imagine
With
like
dual
a football
citizenship.
team?
Well, that would be. I was just going to ask. Would that immediately qualify for free healthcare on Mars? Who were
Yes.
born?
Oh, how long is
And
the
who
trip
would pay
from
for
Earth
that?
to Mars supposed to
It's
take?
about 7 months. Now, if the Earth is aligned where it's rotating and where it could be where it's closest to Mars, I think it's about only like 90 days. But like
No.
I think
Really?
I think so. When it's when you slingshot it, I think it's about. Actually, no, I take that back. It's not like 90. It's more like I think 6 to 7 months. But if Earth is farthest away from Mars, it could be anywhere from 8 months to I think over a year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
These people
Would they be
are just
awake the entire
chilling
time, or would
inside
they
this
go?
little pod.
Would it be like aliens, where they go into like a cryogenic sleep?
I do not know that. I can't say if they actually would go to sleep during the trip.
That's
That
when
would
you
be
get your
so
free
cool.
Kindle membership, so you can read
Yeah, exactly.
for all that time.
I need free Kindle.
High Wi-Fi though at that height must be impossible.
Hey, listen, I read the book The Martian. I'm very in tune to what NASA can send via internet, okay?
And don't you have infinite internet in outer space?
Yes.
Isn't that where we get it from?
That's very true, Tommy.
We just pull it from the
Where
Outer
space.
Bruh, is
The
that where you think?
interwebs.
Is that where you think internet comes from, Tommy?
Well, that's where they get the cloud from, right? It's just like the internet drops stuff into the cloud, and the cloud drops stuff into us.
Wow.
Huh. So do we know? Are these guys getting paid anything, or is this strictly a
It's
labor
strictly
of love?
Labor of love, my friend. Labor of love.
I actually said lub.
Oh, sorry.
it's a labor of love.
for Ricky.
Oh, see, I
That's
never
why
heard
they
this.
call him the hammer.
That's right. Now, my question is: now, when there's enough people that's populated Mars,
Mhm.
who do you think's gonna have a better football team, Earthlings or Martians?
Oh,
Definitely Earthlings. We have way more time to practice, and
Yeah,
we have a
for sure.
lot bigger population.
bigger
Mm.
pool to choose from. Also,
Mm.
yeah, as far as talent goes.
Well, this is not going to be any fun. 'Cause-
So do you think do you see it being like that Total Recall movie one day where you're gonna have like cities under domes and
yes, and I would hope that would happen because I would see my lifetime. I would love.
we'll never see that in all.
I know.
No way.
I wish it would. I wish it were true where they would have domes and settlements on there where it's commercial flight to Mars and back. That would be so
Well,
fun.
that's got to be like 1,000 years away minimum.
I would say 500.
Well, either or, we're never gonna see our
Technology was
kids.
moving.
Well,
Yeah, we
what if
wouldn't
we
see
get
it.
like robot hearts and stuff and brains, and we can live longer?
Yeah, but
Nobody
the
can
flesh,
really
the
experience
flesh
that.
is still, you'd have to almost be a complete cyborg.
Well, isn't that the point? You want to be better.
No,
Like, no, okay.
I kind of like my human heart.
Oh,
I would
so attached to my human heart and
So let's say the launch goes as planned. They get the pods up there and everything. Obviously, it's not going to be producing any money. So have they estimated a cost at what it would take to sustain what they have?
How this originally started off, from what I read, is it's supposed to be a reality show. These 4 settlers that go to the first war would actually be constantly under surveillance, and so it would actually.
Oh yeah, that would go without saying. I can see that.
And so that's how they're going to generate money. And it's like they're going to be turned into a reality show where they're going to sell advertisements. So that's where the money's going to come from. Imagine watching people's lives on Mars and the trip to Mars and their struggle is real to survive.
See, all that would be interesting, but I think the day-to-day operation would be about as exciting as watching like underwater welders work.
Yeah, I agree.
After a while.
I see after a while, I think it's going to be. I give it the first year, people will be very interested. Now, when something goes wrong, obviously everybody's going to turn the channel on. But other than it's like the NASA channel right now. Who tunes into NASA?
Well,
they got
all I'm
nothing going on.
getting from this is that I really should apply so I can be the entertainment value, because that'd be far more interesting to watch trying to survive on Mars than a whole bunch of scientists.
This is true.
And
Is it too late to get your application in? Are you still accepting
I think it
applications?
is.
Tommy, do you know? Go ahead.
Do I know how to what? This could be important.
I was going to say, do you know how to build a fire?
Yeah, with matches.
With matches.
Yeah,
I don't think you're going to be using a rocket and flint on Mars.
Can you see a NASA-approved Flint and Stone?
They're going to have some pocket.
They're going to need to just send me a lot of lighter fluid and just maybe a refillable Zippo. Like that, I'd be all right with that.
I'll be the first pyro on Mars.
I'm going to be a botanist.
A paleobotanist.
So now, rather than sending supplies, I mean, because you hear about these news articles that they're able to on the space station are saying they're actually cultivating crops now. They've grown, I think, the first head of lettuce in space.
Right.
That was a couple of weeks ago or something like that. Are we looking at that for the Mars colony being
yeah, well, actually
self-sustained, where they're growing their own food?
Right. And before we found running water on there, we would have to get machines to do this and to remake the water and stuff like that.
Well, it's not running water. It's proof. They found proof that running water at one time covered the surface of Mars.
No, it's actually they have the images of running water that's underneath the Mars.
No kidding. So below the surface.
Below the surface. So before this was you could get ice and melt the ice, and then you could turn that into water. Or I forget the term. The machine. There was a machine they can get where it's I guess I forget what it is, but there's this machine they could use too to create water too as well, because it's just hydrogen.
It's called a rainmaker.
I forget because all you need is hydrogen and oxygen, and you have water.
Which I'm assuming are abundant on the surface of Mars, or
maybe because there's further than that, but obviously to produce heat, it requires a lot of energy, so that's not very.
And that's the key, water. I mean, you can't have life without.
Yeah, correct. And then so with this running water, they can plant crops, and they wouldn't need all this. They would need less machinery.
God, can you imagine being that guy that takes that first sip of pure Martian water? How nerve-wracking that would be.
He'd probably throw up.
All of a sudden he's at dinner that night, how you feeling? Oh, I'm okay. It's almost like an alien where his chest starts to punch out. Next thing you know, something's crawling out of him.
He grows a third breast.
Or it could be like War of Worlds, where the aliens drank our water and they died.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, man, this
water guns for the win.
But this is such unknown territory. It's like the tiniest, miscalculation, and you're done. Your history. I don't think I could live under that kind of stress where any move could be your last.
Yeah, your last. I agree. And just a trip to get to Mars alone, that's a trouble in itself.
Yeah,
that rover was 2 centimeters off when it crash landed, just 2 centimeters.
Well, and they were saying too. I read a little bit of that MIT article that you brought over about just what would need to be pioneered really at this point. It's one thing to land something with the intentions of not returning it. I'm saying? It's a totally different thing because they're talking about actually coming back from Mars eventually. So they're going to have to create something. So when the stuff that they land there, they're going to have to make sure is not damaged. So that opens up a whole new book of problems, as far as making sure, the payload pounds and all that stuff is calculated correctly. And just, it was what MIT, the students had said. It was just almost like we're so far away from that technology. It's not.
I was caught up in the hype when Mars One was first announced. I was this is very exciting.
I remember that.
Yeah, and and after reading up stuff about it later on, it's just not feasible. I have a feeling these people are who's in the head of the Mars One project are going to send people to their death, and I just have a strong feeling about that.
You don't think they'll eventually say, "Listen, we got to pull the plug on this. This just going to work," or you think they'll actually go through with it?
I think if they get pushed into a corner, they think they're going to have to. But
go through with it.
Yeah, I think so. I think the only way for them to do this is they need NASA's help. We're talking about people who do this for a living versus a private company.
And do we know where Mars One? What countries even are they? What country are they from?
I think it's like a Dutch. Don't quote me on that. I believe it's Dutch. It's a European company.
Okay, so somewhere in Europe. So I just don't see, especially why wouldn't you use NASA and their years, decades worth of knowledge,
decades, man.
Resources like launch platforms. I mean, just that alone.
And,
vehicles.
And I said before that NASA is going to do by year 2030. Their launch plan is about 15 years away.
Well, but they don't have any funding, NASA.
This is what I last read about. If I had the information available to me, I would Google it, but I don't have it with me. But it said 2030 is their plan.
That NASA is actually going to try to reach Mars.
Yeah, they said NASA is going to reach Mars by 2030.
Wow.
Now, with NASA, do they have like an age range to become an astronaut? Kind of like, how you have to be like a certain age to become a president? Like, should I start preparing now?
I think at least 18.
To join NASA?
But their astronauts are like fighter pilots with like 30 years experience flying like experimental aircraft. I mean, they're not just, these guys are like,
I've played a lot of video games.
Well, that may qualify you on that because some of those flight simulators are pretty darn accurate.
Right. So, but I'm also like really advanced. I like killing aliens. A lot of experience with Halo.
Yes.
So, I mean, I feel like I could hold myself. As long as I could like jump and float a little bit so I could stabilize in air, then I could probably at least be a bodyguard, like an astronaut bodyguard.
You have to prove yourself proficient with the gravity hammer.
The gravity hammer.
Dude, who isn't good with the gravity hammer?
Okay. I'm just saying, I'm actually reading this from NASA's website.
And is that NASA.gov?
Requirement number one, gravity hammer.
Yeah, gravity hammer proficiency is a must.
I feel like you guys are mocking me now. I'm trying to be serious and be a part of the group.
Are you being serious?
Yeah. I am.
So you're saying you may be down with the NASA version of the Mars One project?
Yeah, absolutely. We have people who do this for a living.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new business owner coming out with something. If I wanted to start my own shoe company out of my house and I've got no good experience, when Nike's like, "Hey, I'll make that shoe for you. Just give me another year to do it." Why wouldn't I go that route?
I don't know.
Try to jump the gun.
I'm okay with private industry.
It depends what type of private industry. I got to research and see what they are.
Who's it? Richard Branson, who owns Virgin Airlines.
Yeah, look what happened to the plane recently. He just set up in there. It crashed. There was no pilot there, but it just crashed recently.
But just so he's the one though that's planning those tiny, like you can go into orbit for whatever,
right? Commercial use. It's open to the public.
So he had a test crash.
Yeah, it wasn't a test crash. I think it was they were launching putting a satellite in space. And it just recently crashed.
All right, so obviously he hasn't had all the kinks worked out of it yet. But see, I think private business can definitely get something like this.
Again, it has to be what type of profession they are. If it's Nike, would you really trust Nike to put someone on Mars?
No, of course not.
Exactly. So I gotta look up what that Dutch
But if these guys were a bunch of ex-astronauts or cosmonauts, the brightest retirees from Russia, America, Japan, whatever, I would be okay with that.
If it was something like that, I agree. Like something like was it Boeing like type of people? Like they're in charge. If they were those type of people, then I have no problem.
Aeronautical engineers. I mean, that kind of degree is that kind of degree worldwide.
Right. I agree.
Flight is flight.
I agree.
So I don't see why they would. But again, if I were them and I had NASA's offering of help, I certainly wouldn't say, no way to it. I definitely, the more minds, the better, especially for something this big, this vast. This is huge. If this happens, this is huge.
It's huge. And I would be one of the first, when they are filming this, I'm going to be one of the first people to tune in, man. I'm so excited for this.
Oh, yeah. This will be the biggest thing
set to DVR.
Yeah, man.
This would be the biggest thing that mankind's ever done.
And this is just stumbling out of our bed, like you said the other day.
It'll be the next big thing for humankind.
Well, we were talking
just like Apple comes out with a new best iPhone every year.
It's true.
It'll be like America's new best thing or the world's new best thing.
we were talking though about this being, like you said, like a platform for other missions and stuff, like to go further. I'm like, God, we were just talking about just how vast the universe is.
So vast.
This is nothing. I said, like, this would be like falling out of the front door of your house.
Yeah.
You know,
we haven't begin to scratch the surface. There's just so much out there.
Yeah, this is it's just, and that's what I'm saying. Like, not in I don't see this being like in 1,000 years. You know,
yeah, and with the technology the way it is, we're advancing in so many ways. Like they just discovered the M drive, which is traveled, which is faster than the speed of light. So we have to figure out how to incorporate that, but we're getting there. It's
but then now the next thing is to create the vehicle to be able to take advantage of that. I mean, it's one thing to beam an electron at the speed of light. It's another thing to beam a 4-man, rocket.
Right, and I agree. But the thing about 100 years ago, do you ever think that we would even land on the moon 100 years ago? No, we didn't think that. And I just think, well, we're getting there. We're getting baby steps, but in the last 100 years, we advanced technology so much.
According to Tommy, we never went to the moon.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I find that to be believable. I mean, do you really think a bicyclist could be on the moon? No, let's be real.
you amazing Swags.
Lance.
Hey,
Swags.
You guys brought me onto your show to be an expertise on all things that you're not. And clearly, history is my specialty.
It's definitely one of Ricky's weak points.
I clearly don't have a history to dispute this.
He tries to think he knows the facts. Oh, I can Google this. I can Google that. I've experienced this in my heart. I know this to be true. And I know a lot of people question my theories, my methods, and where I get my knowledge from, but it's all from my heart, and what I believe to be is really true.
And that's what the sad part is I believe you believe this is very true, so that's the sad part.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I'm assuming that the funds collected or funds raised for this is going to be something that's publicly shared.
Yeah, that's a thing where the finalists came out and said it was a scam. Because do you have to give back donations? I don't know the law that well enough but if someone donates something to you.
Oh yeah, you'll always have that thing where if it's proven to be a scam, they'll get arrested and they'll say you have to pay back, blah blah blah, like Bernie Madoff with his pyramid scam. He's on the hook to pay back everyone that invested with him, but whether or not you see that money, that's another thing. But my question is, do we know as far as the total cost they're looking to collect versus what they've actually collected? I
do not have that offhand. No, I do not. I just know that.
So are they on like GoFundMe.com or something?
Yeah, is that like a
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter?
Kickstarter.
I believe it's something along the lines of that, but I think they have a direct website.
Well, they do have a direct website, MarsOneProject.com, where they actually they hype it up, saying be a part of history, and make a contribution today.
I've already donated $4 billion, so they're mostly there.
Is that why you couldn't pick up lunch the other day?
Yeah, I was like, hey, man, I'm fully invested into this.
Tapped.
Well,
Mars thing.
Your debit card was smoking.
I just pulled up the information here. It shows here that the countries, it's a total of 103 countries with a total of $759,000 has been donated.
What? That's it?
That's it.
Is that from private funds? It
says countries of buyers/donors.
And it's not they haven't even gotten $1 million yet?
No, they have not.
Oh,
it's been out for like a while too. They made a Big Bang Theory episode about it, and Sheldon tried to be on it, and it's been plugged everywhere.
I agree. And
come on, there's no way that's accurate. Are you sure that's not 700 million or 700 billion that they've collected?
Let me see. Does it say
count the zeros? Count the apostrophe, the commas.
It says here, revenues on Mars One has received merchandise sales donations. Nothing about this is it just says 759,000. I agree with you. That's a lot lower than I thought it would be.
That's nothing. Literally, that's nothing.
That's like my Saturday night.
Yeah, they started crowdfunding on December 10th, 2013.
Oh my! So just almost 2 years. That's it. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot lower than I expected to be.
Yeah, hearing that number, I'm just like, yeah, no way is this going to happen. Especially if they're saying by 2022, no way.
No, I agree. That's not going to happen.
There's no way.
And they're completely dependent on private funds.
You can buy a nice house.
Yeah, you can buy
not even. I mean, you buy a nice house in Kansas.
Well, I no longer believe this is a scam. I believe, or it's a failed scam.
I'm sorry, it's not a scam.
Yeah. Well, it could be a scam. It's just
a very bad one.
They're no Enron.
Yeah, they're no Enron.
You know what I mean?
Wow, that to me, that kind of brings everything into perspective.
It fell short of its goal. It's reading further on by $300,000.
Like they're supposed
so
to
the bar wasn't even set that high.
It wasn't even set that high, and they failed.
Wow.
Well, you know what happens when you fall off the horse?
Back on it?
You get back. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a gymnast.
Oh, you're talking about the
that was a Zoolander plug.
Zing.
A zinger. You get it? Like you ride horses in the Olympics.
Yeah, I get you.
Equestrian.
Yeah.
Speaking of plugs, how did you like the song in the intro?
It's probably one of the best bands ever. I think they're called the Nearly Deads.
Yeah, they're Nearly Deads. Yeah, you can find their music on iTunes.
Yeah, I wrote most of their music, so it's got to be good.
That's right.
Speaking of addresses, Tommy, in case anybody wants to send questions or anything like that for future broadcasts or show ideas, how can the people reach us?
Well, you can reach us at a various number of locations. First and foremost, our website at groupthinkcast.wordpress.com. Also on Facebook at facebook.com/groupthinkcast. That's CAST, short for podcast. And also on Twitter and Instagram at groupthinkcast.
So if you have any questions, any future show ideas, or anything you want to ask any of us about, any of our broadcasts, those are definitely the ways to get the questions to us. Eventually, I think we're going to be able to go live with Skype as far as getting people to actually call in with questions or call in via Skype with questions. But we're like the Mars One project, a little bit away from that.
Yeah, and it's also a way for people to send us death threats.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Clearly. Also, if you would like to comment on how sexy you think my voice is, or would like me to play any music or write you a song, I can definitely do that for a small nominal fee.
When you're writing songs there, what is your process, Tommy or Mr. Swags?
I usually like to go with poopy humor. I feel like it's a good zinger. It makes people kind of uncomfortable, but then they laugh at the same time because they're like, "Oh, that's really disgusting," but kind of funny because we're all children inside.
So you're appealing to the lowest common denominator.
Right. Well, it's my
this sounds like a good segue to a feature that we're gonna have on the show. Headlines from the dark side, where it's going to be basically news stories that you won't see in your normal mainstream media. Take some time out from the broadcast to kind of discuss the article and. Get your opinions, get you and Ricky's opinions about these articles. And the first one I decided to take hits a little close to home, being I am originally from New Jersey.
Nothing good comes from there.
That is not true. A lot of great things that come from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Pesci, for one, but we won't really get into that. This one has to deal with the Jersey Devil, who's supposed
the hockey team.
That will be the New Jersey Devils. This is their namesake, the Jersey Devil, who is said to inhabit the Pine Barrens of South Jersey. Just recently, and I know you've seen this article, Ricky, because we talked about this. Recently, we saw there's an article about a gentleman, a security guard from Atlantic City, who actually videoed the Jersey Devil in flight with its leathery wings and horns. swooping over a golf course. He said somewhere in Galloway, New Jersey, along Route 9.
He's mad because
this sounds like the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Wait, what?
I'll have a swag special song
this security
for the Jersey
guard
Devil in his tight leathery pants.
He was coming home from his shift and had looked up and seen this winged animal flying around, and he said he grabbed his mobile phone and fired off some quick pictures, but only one emerged with anything remotely meaningful. He told the investigator interviewing him and said, "Either my mind is playing tricks on me, or I just saw the Jersey Devil."
Oh my God!
So he added, he goes, "Listen, Ricky, this is sworn testimony."
I just think the New Jersey Devil wanted to play some golf, and he wanted privacy.
The gentleman, Mr. Black, goes on to say, "Yes, I swear it's not photoshopped or a staged thing. People have said it's fake, but it's not." That's sworn testimony from this eyewitness.
From a security guard.
I swore on testimony that I would be a massive bodyguard. So
he says you can clearly see the wings on the creature's back and horns on its head. Its feet are cloven, and the fur is dark brown. And he said it's obviously off the ground. He said there are no wires or strings holding it up like a piñata. His exact words.
It's
what
probably
are your thoughts on
dressed up quadcopter.
It's like Mitch Hedberg says, like maybe Bigfoot is just blurry. It's like every time you take a picture of something,
this is video. This is a 20-second video of this flying around Route 9 in Galloway, New Jersey.
Listen,
his statement said it was just a single picture that he took.
He took pictures, but only one was usable, so he decided to take a video of it.
Listen,
okay.
I saw this.
I feel like the story's changing, and I'm losing credibility.
I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and I got to be honest. It's gonna be a struggle for me to get to sleep tonight. knowing this winged beast is somewhere out there flying around.
Come on, you can't possibly believe this is real. It's a hoax.
This is the worst.
Why would it be a hoax?
And I've said a lot of dumb stuff tonight.
Listen, this one guy came into when I was working at this bar called Nobody's. He came into work. Goes, "Did you see that they discovered a dragon in China?" I'm like, "Dude, do you know what today's day is? Right? It's like today's April 1st."
So it's an April Fool's joke?
Yes.
Well, I just think that this release and this video being close to Halloween is just purely circumstantial.
Come on.
I believe it. I grew up with this myth.
In October.
What's that?
I said all the scary things happen in October, so it's only natural that you would, see the Jersey Devil or anything scary in the month of October versus any other month.
There was a theory floating around about this video saying that he said he showed it to a friend, and his friend suggested it maybe was an animal running and an owl grabbed it. So he's saying it's a combination of an owl flying away with its prey in its feet. What do you think?
This is
gotta be. It's about the size of a deer, so it's not something small either.
The only thing that this article has managed to accomplish is people giving them money. The amount of advertisement that they got for you clicking on this is probably in the hundreds of thousands of dollars now because of you.
Why have we not started our own?
Yeah, because you clicked on there. Now their advertisers are like, "Hey, let's."
All I'm saying is that the citizens of Little Harbor Township
fan fiction.
They have a reason to fear. The night.
This was trending on social media, so I know. I know for a fact they're getting lots of money for this.
And Slender Man is real too.
Yeah, Slender Man's real.
Slender Man's a video game. This is a legend that's been going for over 200 years.
Whoa, Bigfoot's been around for a long time.
Not 200 years.
Sasquatch, Yetis.
So is communism.
Dave Black, I support you. I believe you. And if you have any other further video of this, please send it to us.
Maybe he could call in and give his side of the story.
I'd love it. He would be our first book guest. All right, and I think we could pretty much we're all in agreement that the Mars One project is basically at best pipe dream.
Right, I agree.
And at worst, a total scam where people might lose some life savings. Although, going and looking at those figures of what they've collected so far, it's not too many people that are going to be going broke due to donating to this thing.
Right.
Are we all in agreement with that?
All came from those other 102 countries that were poor, thinking they'd get like some big kickback for doing this.
Yeah,
Right.
most of those are probably in rupees, rupee denomination.
I love rupees.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Ends
what
up
the
being
Legend
about
of Zelda is?
$3. It's up a Big Mac for that. So Tommy thinks this is going to be a conspiracy on the scale of what some people would say the moon landing was, where it's just going to be people getting rich and then filming in some studio. Ricky and I are a little bit more optimistic about it, hopefully optimistic, but then realistic at the same time, where we'd both, like to see it happen, but just don't see it being feasible especially without the help of NASA.
Yeah, definitely. NASA has to be involved one way or another.
Yeah, for sure. And you're standing by your conspiracy theory there, Tommy, huh?
Yeah, why not? Why not pick the odd side there? I mean, I do think realistically NASA needs to be involved in order for it to be successful. But I think it's more fun. I think that someone's just trying to dupe the world.
And do you think that, like the Nazis after World War II, a lot of these guys would go to South America and live?
No, they clearly have a base on the moon.
Oh, so they'd...
Did you?
It's like the movie Iron Eagle.
Yeah, did you not see that?
That's Louis Gossett Jr., Iron Eagle.
Oh, wow. It's like, when did this get dragged into the gutter?
Well,
Once you mentioned Louis Gossett Jr.
I thought it was once I started talking. That's kind of what I was hoping for.
All right, Tommy, give those addresses again for people who want to send in any kind of questions or show ideas.
All right, well, first you can find us at groupthinkcast.wordpress.com. That's cast, C-A-S-T, short for podcast. Also at facebook.com/groupthinkcast, and on Twitter and at Instagram at groupthinkcast. So love to hear from you guys. Comments, feedback.
Good or bad.
Good or bad, especially if you like me. Then preferably good.
Well, we don't want to get too many bad things, Tommy. So I want to keep kind of limit those.
I hope the New Jersey Devils is listening.
Oh no!
That's going to wrap it up for our first episode, October 19th, 2015. Next week, we're going to do a Halloween episode where we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to my heart, something I've been interested in all my life. And Ricky, if that was a clue right there, it probably gave it away what the topic's going to be about.
Is it candy?
Yes, candy. People
love candy.
Your imitation of a child singing because he was so excited to receive candy.
That was totally
Swags. That was Swags.
Oh, was it?
Come on, man.
I can't even tell you two apart now. But we're going to be talking about the supernatural, ghosts, hauntings, and rumor has it Tommy Swags has some personal stories to share with you next week for this topic. So add a little something personal to it. But until next week, this is Steve Pelakaitis signing off with Ricky the Hammer Carmen and Tommy Swags. Thanks for tuning in and being a part of our first episode of Group Think. You guys want to say anything on the way out?
Oh yeah, I would like to say thank you to the Nearly Dead for providing us the intro and the out song for our podcast. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And where can we find their music?
On iTunes.
99 cents a song or $9.99 a month.
That's right.
TheNearlyDeads.com.
TheNearlyDeads.com.
Thanks for
listening.
All right,
guys.
This is Tommy Swags out.
This is Ricky the Hammer Carmen out.
With a question mark?
With a question mark.
I don't know.
A little confidence there, buddy.
I don't know where that.
You haven't owned a name like the Hammer.
I have no idea where that name came from. I'm assuming that Steven just
It'll change every week, so we don't. Hey, thanks again for joining in. Good night, and like I said, thanks for listening.